Rob here from Media, and we are going to be talking about intersections within Elementor in this video, so stay tuned. At Media, we help companies to grow and thrive using the latest tools, tricks, and marketing techniques. From websites to online marketing, automated sales funnels, social media, and much more. We're always releasing new content on our YouTube channel, so make sure you click the like, subscribe, and notification button to make sure that you don't miss out. Just before we get going, I want to tell you about an exclusive offer we have on at the moment. We're giving away free access to our paid Hub platform to the first 50 people that click the link in the description. We're going to be putting this link in the description of all of our videos, so make sure that you get in there as quick as you can. Within Hub we have created over 100 training videos in 13 courses, including a course on how to build a website using Elementor. You'll also find recorded webinars and a host of other free content, so remember to click the link in the description. Let's get on with the video. Hello, in this video we are going to show you intersections. We'll look at what they are, how to use them, and why you might choose to use them. So what are intersections? Intersections are an element in Elementor which can be dragged into your columns. Just like regular sections, intersections are also made up of columns. This means that intersections are a way of adding columns inside other columns. This might sound a little strange and you might be wondering, why would you do this? Well, there is a reason and we'll look at this now. So our first example here is a section with one column. We've got a heading saying our team, and then we've got some text. And then we've got an intersection of 3 columns which show us 3 team members. So the important thing here is that we have our heading and our text outside and above these team members. If we scroll down, we have a section here which has 3 columns. Instead of the one we have here with an intersection of 3 columns, this is just one section with 3 columns. Let's say I wanted to put that same heading into this section. If I go to our heading tile and drag this in, it actually wants to be in one of the columns and not outside where I want it to be. So if I put that in, if I just quickly change the text color so we can see it to gray, we can see how this appears, and that's not how I want it to be. I want it to be outside and above, and that will be the same for the text as well. If I drag some text in, it would have to be inside this column. So that's one example. Let's go to another. And this example is a bit similar. So we've got a section of frequently asked questions. In this section, we've got one column. We've got a couple of intersections which are made up of 2 columns, which ask the questions and answer them. Our heading and our text is outside of these intersections because we want it to be centralized with our main section. So if I scroll down, and let's show you the example. If I go to heading, and I drag this in, I can't have this outside of these columns and centralized. It has to go in one of these columns. So that is why we need one column, and we drag an intersection in and then add in the content that we need to separately. So one last example then that looks a little bit more realistic. We've got a large section here that takes up the full page with a nice background, a nice statement in the middle, and at the bottom we've got 5 logos. These logos have been displayed in an intersection with 5 columns, because if I put an image element into our one column here, we can't have these images line up next to each other. So let's drag another image in. I can't put it to the side, it would have to go below. So that is why we drag in an intersection, create some more columns, and in those columns we would drag the individual images into it. So as you can see, intersections are necessary in some cases when creating your pages. They allow us to display content that you otherwise couldn't use outside a normal column layout. Let's have a brief look at how we can edit them. So we can delete and add columns. We can right click on our edit column button. We can delete. We can right click again and add new column. We can actually right click on a column and duplicate. We can delete the intersection by clicking this X. We can also edit the intersections settings in a very similar way to main sections. We just need to find the 6 dots that represent the settings of our intersection, click that, and on the left here our panel changes to the intersection settings, and we've got layout, style and advanced. We'll look at these only very briefly, as these are very similar to the section settings that we've recorded in another video. But we've got content width here, which we can manually set or leave it on default. We can stretch it to full width if we want to. This is currently the full width of this column, so that won't change. We've got minimum height. You can see how this changes the section, and of course as we make it larger, this wants to make the entire section larger. Let's leave it around there because we've got vertical alignment next. We can see how this affects our content inside, like so. We've got overflow. You probably won't need to use this unless you're using custom positioning and you're forcing images off the screen, which is probably not the case anyway. So we'll just leave that as default. Then we've got the HTML tag, which again we're going to leave as default, as Elementor will sort that for us as we make our pages. Then we've got the structure. We've got 5 even columns here. Obviously that is the only setting we can do with this structure really. So you can actually go into the column settings if you want to and manually change the size of the columns if you wanted to. You can even drag the size of the columns if you wanted to, like this. But anyway, if we wanted to reset that, we can go back to the section settings. Under layout, structure, we can click reset and that will set it back to the even columns. We've also got style settings. We'll just quickly glide over these. We can change the background color if we wanted to. We can add an image into the background, even a slideshow, videos and gradients. We've got hover options as well. Background overlay. So if you had some text over an image, you might want to put a sort of a darker overlay to make that text stand out a little bit, for example, a bit like this. Border, we can add a border, solid for example, 5 width and white. Add a box shadow if you like. And shape divider, have a play around with these. They're just a different kind of way of making your pages look a little bit more interesting. There we go. Typography you shouldn't need to do. If you've already looked through the theme style video, then you may have already set a theme style, or you can individually go through text items and style with typography anyway. Then we've got advanced, and this is where you'll find your margin and padding options. So we can increase the margins and padding if we want to, like so, for example. That's it for intersections. If you've watched the sections and columns video, I'd now recommend you watch our structure quiz to help you visualize, learn and test the skills that we've been talking through regarding page structure in Elementor. Don't forget to click the green button when you're done, and we will see you in the next video.